Industrial revolutions are rare, but when they come, they change everything. As petrochemical production becomes economically and politically less attractive, where can the world go for the feedstock to build everything it needs? We now know that we have to find a substitute for those 2 gallons from a barrel of oil that fuels American industry. And we want a substitute that doesn't come with pollution and other problems. What if that substitute could free the US from reliance on oil-producing nations and could be made domestically with much fewer investment costs? What if the difference is $10 to $100 million instead of $10 to $20 billion? And still better, what if that substitute could produce chemicals that oil refining never could? These are the materials of tomorrow, such as reactive coatings and sensory tiles, optical materials that can bend light, and new therapeutics such as vaccines and antimicrobials. The bioeconomy makes all this possible. Using synthetic biology and biomanufacturing to do it is the obvious and inevitable next step towards this industrial revolution. Using synthetic biology, a strand of DNA is engineered by scientists to direct the production of a desired material. The DNA strand is placed inside a cell, typically a bacteria or a yeast. Once inside the cell, the DNA is read and acted on to change the cell's behavior, just like opening a new app on your smartphone. The engineered DNA allows scientists to take control of the cell's manufacturing processes so that the cells are now manufacturing a new, high-value material. Billions of these engineered bacterial cells are suspended in watery liquid in a fermentation vat and fed sugars and salts. As more and more of this material is produced, it is taken out of the vat and turned into products such as explosives, reactive coatings and textiles, optical and sensor materials, or new therapeutics including vaccines. Or it can produce more ordinary but much needed materials such as the rubber in tires, polyurethane for cushion foam, or the polyethylene that make plastic soda bottles, among many other things. In effect, these vats are like miniature unmanned factories programmed to make the high-value molecules needed by American industry. One unexpected effect of the COVID pandemic is that it exposed a weakness in U.S. manufacturing that has been building for years. U.S. industry supply chains are too reliant on other nations, often ones that do not share our values or interests. The steady offshoring of critical industries over the course of decades has reduced our nation's direct control of vital defense-related manufacturing. Therefore, it is a national security imperative that the U.S. invest in the bioeconomy. Just as during World War II we needed a domestic steel industry to make the arsenal of democracy, we now need to domestically produce the far more varied and exotic materials of our future defense. A further benefit is that biomanufacturing can return industries from overseas, retool aging production lines with new biotechnologies, and retrain displaced workers in the skills needed for green biosynthesis of everything from toothpaste to tanks. Finally, biomanufacturing is attractive to industry because it's so much cheaper to build a biomanufacturing facility. In addition, this kind of factory has the flexibility to pivot from making one kind of material for one need to another kind for a different need. Industrial revolutions are rare, but when they come, they change everything. We are at the start of just such a time now. The convergence of synthetic biology, robotics, and biomanufacturing is ushering in a new bioeconomy that is based on biotechnologies. The U.S. is moving to sustain its lead in these technologies because we understand its importance. The nations that lead in these fields will dominate the global economy through the year 2050 and usher in a new biological revolution.